Hello, how you doing? It's Gus Tucker here for Financial Pro Network and Financial Freedom Fridays here on blackdoctor.org. And today we're going to be covering part of the 8 financial breakthroughs. We're continuing to work through the book, the 8 financial breakthrough book, and we're on breakthrough number 6, shaping future income. Shaping future income. Make sure you like and subscribe and invite other people to the program, because what you're going to learn here is this 4-step process, okay? Which, whether you're doing it on your own, you're reading our book and you're doing it on your own, you're working with a financial professional, ultimately, these are the 4 things you got to do. You got to understand your goals and gather the information about that. I was just talking with someone about the need to get their numbers down on paper. It's something that happens when you get your numbers down on paper that really makes a situation real and tangible. Okay, you get your hands on it and put together some real plans towards making things happen, which is the next part. Analyze your need. What is it that I need income wise? Okay, what is it I need investment wise? What is it I need in terms of establishing assets, and put those options in place, and then recommend a plan. Then it's all about execution. Now we got the plan. It's all about execution. Coordinating resource, executing the plan, and then managing it, and just staying on a tight 4-step process towards making things happen. You will not become financially independent by accident. You will not become financially independent by accident. You will not build a business that's successful by accident. It'll be a premeditated plan that makes that happen. So we at Financial Pro Network use a number of financial solutions to help our clients reach their goals. So there's no need for a solution unless there's a specific problem or a specific goal you're going after. Our job is to have our income, every dollar of it, have a job that it's attacking for us to create for our future. These solutions are just ways of taking that money and making it do the things you need it to do. And one of the things we say is prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. Well, Gus, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do this? What is the prescription? What are we prescribing this for? What is it we're seeking to do? And then we can know which tools, and there are a lot of tools that aren't on this page that we have access to really help you reach your goals, okay? So which level of wealth are you at? This is key, and we'll figure this out through the financial discovery. Are you at level 1 where we need to establish financial stability? What does that mean? End of the month and end of the money, they coincide together, okay? And you don't have more month than you have money. And that's consistent. That's consistent month after month after month after month. Financial security is you're doing that and you've established a savings habit. You're not going to save your way to wealth, okay? You're not going to save your way to wealth, but you can save your way to stability and security by having a contingency plan of 6 months of your income. You guys remember COVID? Do you remember COVID? Not being able to work? Having 6 months of your income or 6 months of your financial responsibilities in place helps you to weather storms. And there are other threats to our income that we'll talk about that you put in place to put a financial umbrella over your head. So if you have a chronic illness, critical illness, or an accident, you're still financially secure. Level 3 is financial freedom. So there's more money than every month. We're saving money. We've got that 6-month or 12-month security blanket in place. And now what's starting to happen is you're building assets so that the income that comes off those assets whether you work anymore or not, the income that comes from those assets is large enough to take care of all your financial responsibilities. And then financial abundance is having that at a level of 2, 3, 4, 5 times what it is you need to live. These are the 8 financial breakthroughs. We're on breakthrough number 6 today. We've talked about financial wellness, protection from threats, cash flow, your debt to income ratio, liquidity. Now we're talking about your future income and net worth. Future income net. And we're going to hit it. We're not in the future, we'll go deeper into it, but we're going to skim across the top of it, give you some ideas about it. We're getting you through the book, and we're going to go back through it and really dig in, almost like a workshop. So at each one of these, we're going to get into it so you can begin to apply these things. Encourage you to get our book on Amazon. You go to 8financialbreakthroughs.com, grab a copy of it today, read along with us, do the homework. If you do the homework in the book, do the homework we're subscribing to you or proscribing to you, you'll create financial independence. Wasn't it a lot easier when you went to class at school if you did the homework every week? Did you ever do that? Did you ever try that? Like do the homework every week and don't cram right before the test? Did you ever try that? I remember the first time I tried that, I made the dean's list in college. I'm like, wow, this wasn't that bad and it wasn't so stressful. You do the homework every week, it's amazing what can happen. If you'll do the homework after every chapter, you'll be amazed because you're building skill. Building wealth is a skill. And that's a skill you can learn. But you got to put your time in. I was in a class by a gentleman. His name is Reverend Illumide Emmanuel, and he taught a class called the Money School at my church. And I was one of the hosts of it. And here's one of the things he said. He said, think, what's your age? How old are you? And he said, whatever you want to master, you need to read at least that many books on that subject. So how old are you? 25, 35, 45, 55? And you want to get up on this money game? Well, read your age in books. Because what will happen is it'll begin to rewire your brain and how you look at money and how you look at the world around you. Okay? So for me, I got a lot of reading to do. Okay? We're going to help you with that. And that these are classes. As they become available on our website, My Financial Pro Network, I'll make you aware of it. Some of them will be free. Some of them will cost you money. But this is towards your financial education. These will be a part of the books you need to read, because anytime you're working in an area, it has a vocabulary. It has words that describe key concepts in that area. And they're wealth words. And speaking that language will be important for you as you're building your portfolios. So where are you in your financial timeline? Are you on the accumulation side? You're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, where you're building income and assets? Or you're on the distribution side, traditionally in your 50s and 60s and 70s? Well, where you are will determine what your goals are, because your goals will be based on your timeline. So where are you on your timeline? Where are you on your time? It's important as we develop your plan. So breakthrough number 6 is about shaping your future income. Walt Disney said all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Man, Walt Disney did that, didn't he? A mouse. He created a whole world around a mouse. Isn't that amazing when you think about it? A multi-billion-dollar company around a fantasy world that doesn't exist in a character Mickey Mouse. It's pretty amazing. Breakthrough number 6, shaping your income. Here we go. It's about accumulating and growing your money. Okay, goal 1 is to accumulate wealth, And goal 2 is about distributing it and living on the wealth that you accumulated. So how are you going to make and receive your money? Are you going to do it through a W-2? You can get wealthy with a W-2, having a W-2 maybe and 1099, or going to the top of the pyramid in your W-2 income. So how are you going to make and receive your money? W-2 is going to be 1099 money. Is your income coming to you taxable or tax-free? Is it going to be fixed where it comes in regularly but it's fixed? Will it be variable? Will it be passive? Will you make a passive income that comes from writing books, creating digital content online? Will it come through a portfolio income through investing? Will it come through licensing or intellectual property? How are you planning to have this money coming in? And when you're financially independent, how many streams of income are you going to have? Things to be thinking about, because we have to be planning those right now. Yes, we have to be planning those right now. As you're shaping your future income, take time today to think about how and why you want to live. And the why is actually more important than the how. If you know why and your why is strong enough, you'll figure out how to make it happen, right? I look at my mother. She had 2 children, and her husband passed away. I was 2.5. My brother was a year. It's 1960, and here's a black woman with a high school education with 2 boys under 2 years old. How did she make it happen? Well, she had a why. She's looking at our 2 little faces and like, I don't have a choice. I got to figure this out. And she did, and gave us a great lifestyle. So what's your why? Why do you want to live the way you want to live? Why is it important to you? That's the first thing to figure out. The next thing is the how. But what's your life purpose? At the end of the day, why do you think God put you here on the planet? What problem are you here to solve? And how are you going to make a difference? Taking your gifts and ability, applying them in the marketplace and making a difference for people. What is your life purpose? Because your life purpose was a clue to how you're going to create value for other people. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to live? My wife and I are planning in November of 25. We're looking at 4 different areas. We're in Chicago. In November of 25, we plan on looking at 4 different areas to live where it's warm, so we can stay warm all year round. You know what I mean? We're going to keep our home here in Chicago and pick up one somewhere else. Where are you going to live? Near water, near mountains, near rivers, valleys? Where are you going to live? How are you going to educate your family? And yourself. You're part of the family too. How are you going to educate them? Where are you going to travel to? I know we're getting together next weekend with our kids to talk about a family trip for next year that we're going to make a tradition. So where do you want to travel to? What do you want to see? Man, there's a lot of stuff to see. It's a lot of stuff to see. Do you have a passport? Does it have any stamps in it? Let's get that passport stamped. Automobiles, 1, more than 1. What's your dream car? Philanthropy. Who are you going to give money to? Who are you going to give money away to? What causes? How are you going to create memories with your loved ones? How are you going to leave a legacy for your family? These are all things to think about. The why and the how of how you want to live. The only reason for a financial or retirement plan is to support a life plan worth living. What will motivate you to go out and make money and to plan is that you have a life that you've envisioned that's worthy of your best effort. Is the life that you're planning to live, is it worthy of your best effort? Or can you get there by just kind of just eking by, doing just enough not to get fired at work, doing just enough to keep the job? You know what I'm saying? Or are you really going for it because you've got a life that you must live? As you're planning this life, here, there's some acronyms we use. You got to address the necessities. What size is your mug? I got a mug over here. What size is your mug? I got a mug right here. And it says I'm part of the dream team. So what's your mug? Mug, like a mug like this? No. What's your mortgage payment going to be if you're going to have one? What's your mortgage payment? What are your utilities going to cost? And groceries. Those are some basics. What's your mug? What size is your mug? You got to get a grip on your money. As my coach used to say, and one of them was a basketball coach. And when I watch basketball today, he had a couple pet peeves that he drilled into us. And 40 years later, I'm still calling those things out on the court. And he would say, there's no fun without the fundamentals. If you don't get the fundamentals right and you're playing a game, the game's not going to be fun. So we got to get a grip on your money fundamentals. On the money you're investing for the future, you need to get a grip on it. What's the growth rate you're going after? Where are you going to get it from? What's a reasonable rate of return? I see a misspelling. What's a reasonable rate of return? Are you trying to create income for life? How much? By when? And how are you going to protect the principal? Warren Buffett says, I not only want return on my principal, I want return of my principal. 2 rules of making money. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Okay, so what are your fundamentals? What are the fundamentals that are going to drive your strategy so that when the time comes, your mug is in place and you got a big mug? Okay, so what size is your mug? And get a grip on your money with some fundamentals. What's going to be your growth strategy? What's the reasonable rate of return you're going to go after? How are you going to create income for life? And how are you going to protect the principal so you don't lose the golden goose that's shelling out the cash? Does that make sense? As you're shaping your future, there's some considerations during your retirement years. Your finance will probably take a hit during retirement. A hit? What's that? Healthcare, inflation, and taxes. That's a hit. Man, the cost of healthcare, co-pays, prescriptions, hospital stays, procedures, and maybe procedures that the healthcare plan doesn't cover. How are you going to deal with healthcare? If you have parents that are still alive, do they have what's called long-term care? Like through some sort of financial product? Because if they don't have long-term care, guess what their long-term care plan is? You. You're the long-term care plan. Okay? My mom lived with me for 15 years. The last 5 years, we were her caregiver. Healthcare for aging parents, chronic or critical illness. A chronic illness is not going to kill you, but it's going to require some kind of maintenance program for the rest of your life. Or some kind of critical illness, heart attack, stroke, cancer, something like that. And even accidents can cause you to be going to the healthcare system. So you got to cover those healthcare expenses. Inflation. Historically, inflation has been 3% or greater. Now, there's something called the rule of 72. Okay, the rule of 72. And it says if you take an interest rate and you divide it 72, it tells you how long it takes things to double. So let's say inflation was 3%. I believe most years it's higher than that. Let's just say it's 3%. 3 goes into 72 24 times. So check this out. Let's say you're a parent, you have a child, and you want to pay for their education. And when they're born, college costs one thing. And when they're 18, 18 is 75% of 24. So it's not going to double, but it's at least going to go up by 75% over your lifetime while you're saving money. So if you're not dealing with inflation, you'll never catch up with the cost. Now, there's some other strategies for doing that, but just that's the idea, that costs are continually going up. What are you doing to grow your income 3% or greater every year so you can at least stay even? Impact inflation on Social Security. Are they going to be able to keep up with that? Something to consider. Then taxes. If we work together, our goal is to create a tax-free income for you. That when you retire, your income comes to you in non-taxable cash flows. So you can say cash flow or you can say income. There's a difference. Income is typically something that when people get a W-2, they get a job because they pay income tax, or they have a business that makes income. But there's a way to create cash flows that aren't income so that you're not taxed on them. So what if you could have tax-free cash flows when you're retired? Would that be cool? When you can at least afford to pay taxes, you don't have to. So we have to navigate taxes to ensure you have enough money to create your imagined lifestyle. As we go back here and we make this list, this imagined lifestyle, okay, that's after-tax money that you're going to use to pay for that, typically, unless you figured out some of the cool ways to have your lifestyle be a tax write-off. That's a whole nother strategy for a whole nother time. On shaping your income, one of the things you're going to do is you got to leverage your net worth with the proper financial structure and assets. Your goal while you're growing your income is you're growing your net worth. Because your net worth are the assets that are going to allow you to retire. They're going to be real estate assets, life insurance assets, just money assets that we're going to need to protect with wills and trusts. Do you have a will and trust in place? Do you have an attorney that you work with on those things? I would encourage you to do that. Wills and trust in place, and you've got a relationship with an attorney as you're leveraging to build your net worth with the proper financial structure and assets. Risk assessment. Typically, as you get older, you have to manage your risk while you're creating income, right? Because you don't want to be losing money and at the same time taking money out those accounts. So let's say your money's in a 401k and the 401k goes down and you're retired. Now you're taking money out of an account that's going down. What does that do? Double speed up how fast your money goes. So this proper level of distribution is key. Managing risk is key. And understand this concept of sequence of returns. If we had a time horizon and the overall interest rates were the same during that 20 years, they experienced the same interest rates for the same period of time. But if one of them, all the losses are up front versus the losses being at the back end, your income comes out totally different because you got to go down to go up. And when you go down, you got to do twice as much on the upside as you did the downside just to break even. So understanding sequence of returns or investment volatility is key. It's key. So how are you going to manage through that? We encourage you to develop a relationship with a financial professional. Develop and discuss your plans. That person is a trusted ally for you. And along with that person, develop your A team, the asset team, the people that are going to help you manage your assets. Attorneys, real estate people, your will and trust person, your financial person. Have them all be able to get together and know who one another is so you can work together. Okay? All right. So what's the homework? 1, how do you see your future lifestyle unfolding? Write it down. Where do you plan to live? That's why I'm saying November 25, we got 4 places that we're considering. We're going to rent there first before we buy something. What's your passion in life? Down the road, you may not want to do whatever you do for work right now. Hopefully your work is your passion as well. If you're so fortunate to have that be the case, then you're not really retiring. Just shifting your lifestyle. But what's your passion in life? And could that passion, as you see a little bit later, create income as you pursue it? Your passion project. Could it make you money while you're in retirement? Something to think about. How much risk do you feel comfortable taking with investing in your future? You need to be clear on your risk tolerance. That's why you can't compare plans with other people, because they're totally different people than you. Okay? So will the rule of 25 or 4% withdrawal rate work for you? That's a recommended withdrawal. You have a lump sum of money. You don't take out more than 4%. And some people will tell you 3% to live on. So how much money do you have to have saved to live on 3% of a number? It's 3% of 100,000 is 30,000. 3%. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to look at what do you need to have in place, right? Because 3% of a million is 30,000. So how much do you want to retire on? 100,000, 200,000? Do the numbers and see how much you got to have racked up in assets, okay? And that's the question. What asset level do you need to provide your imagined lifestyle? Get with your financial professional. They can help you figure that out. Because one of the things we may need to do is ramp up how we're making money and the amount of money we make. Because the first part of financial literacy is not how to manage your money, but how to make it. Because if you don't make it, you don't have anything to manage. So the first thing you want to learn in financial study or financial literacy is how do you make money? To make most money you can the fastest. And schedule time with your financial professional on your A team. So you guys can have a plan on paper that's written on together to make sure you're straight. Nelson Mandela, there's no passion to be found in playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you're capable of living. Are you playing small? Are you playing not to lose instead of playing to win? Don't settle for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living. You're the only one that can put limitations on you. God isn't. He's got a lifestyle for you that's over and above whatever you could ask or think. Don't limit yourself. Get the book, eight financial breakthroughs. There it is. You can go there and it'll take you straight to Amazon. Boom, straight to the page. Knock it out, so you can follow along as we go through the book. Okay. You want to connect with myself? Here's the information to do that. Love to hear from you. If there's any way we can help you, we sure like to. Okay. So we'll be here next week, going through the next financial breakthrough. I know this helps you. If you take these concepts and put them into play, they will change your life financially. If you do them. So take advantage of the resources that are being made available to you through blackdoctor.org, and man, make this happen. Okay? So that's it, folks. I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope that you will take advantage of these opportunities. Okay? I hope you will take advantage of these opportunities to learn, to work with a financial professional, to put a plan in place for yourself. GoFundMe is not a strategy. It's not. Hoping isn't a strategy. Getting together with a financial professional, putting a plan on paper, that's a strategy. All right, guys, take care now. Bye-bye.